Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. I wanted to do a quick VC meetup video. Over the weekend, Ronnie from Ronnie's Record Room, is it Ronnie's Record Room? Yeah, from Ronnie's Record Room, came into town. He's kind of doing a U.S. tour right now. He spent some time with Scott, I think with Dean, with myself, and I think he met with Melinda last night, or he's meeting with her today. So we had a really good time. He ended up they ended up getting here kind of late, and ended up spending the night. And although they got here late, there is one record store in town that is open late. I shouldn't say in town. It's the next town over, or maybe two towns over, but they're open till 10. So they got here about 7:30ish. We talked, got the introductions out of the way for a little bit. They were pretty hungry. They had been on the road from Memphis. And so we decided to go to Mod Pizza. My wife wasn't with us, so it was myself, my daughter, Ronnie, Wolfie, his son Ron, and his wife. We went to dinner at Mod Pizza, had a really good time. Looked at the clock, and it was like 8:45. So I let them know, hey, we need to go, so we can at least get a little bit of digging in before the record store closes. So I took them to Albums. If you watched the video I did with Billy, discussing our dig, it's the same place I took him. It was just coincidence. There was actually a different record shop that I wanted to take Ronnie to. However, because I got there so late, that's the only one that was open, which is fine. We ended up having a blast. The record store owner, or actually it's the owner's husband, who is not always the nicest guy. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. He's hit or miss. Was really cool. My daughter and his son Wolfie, who most of you probably know, were messing with the record store owner all night. They ended up getting free T-shirts from him out of the deal. I believe Wolfie got a free record from him, and he hooked us up with a pretty good. I think I got 15 or 20 bucks off of my order, or off of my purchase. So it was really cool. So I just wanted to show. I only grabbed a couple things. We were there. He actually stayed open quite late for us. It was about 10:45, 10:50 when we left, and the time just kind of flew by. But I did end up getting a couple of really cool records. They had a few more that I really wanted, but I was just kind of being budget conscious. We got family coming into town actually tomorrow, and we're going to be going to Florida on vacation for a week for the 4th of July. So I didn't want to spend too much money, but they have one record that if it's there when I come back, I'm going to get. And they had an original pressing of Angel Witch. Their debut, which I do have a really nice repress from a couple years ago, but I would really love to have that OG pressing. So one of the things I picked up was this really cool new wave of British metal sampler. This is from England in I want to say it was 81. Let me look at the dates here. I'm pretty sure this came out in 81, but it's called Brute Force. And it's got all the hard hitters. You got Fist, White Spirit, Diamond Head, Quartz, Sledgehammer, Raven, Prowler. It's got Colin Towns. I don't know who Colin Towns is. Mick Underwood, Quartz, Mae West. And what's also really cool about this is not just the music that's on here. It gives a really good history of each of the bands. I wish more samplers did this. That's one of the things I've had a problem with the what are the acid samplers, the 70s hard rock samplers that are real pop. Brown Acid. They give you all these really cool bands to look for, some really good music to listen to, but they don't give you any real history on the band, any real information. So this is kind of cool. And it kind of gives you, in a roundabout way, a history of the new wave of British heavy metal. So very cool. I'm really stoked to have this one. And I mean, some great songs. I mean, I'm Electric, Brain Damage. Let's see, where's the Raven? Oh, Let It Rip. Just some great stuff. So really looking forward to spinning this one. I haven't cleaned these yet, so I haven't spun them yet. And this one is actually, this is on MCA. So it's on the MCA Rainbow label. Does it say the year on here? Oh, 1980. So, wow. Which is actually surprising because most of these guys were, or a few of these guys were on different labels at that point. None of these guys were on MCA Records. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, next up, keeping going with the new wave of traditional metal, or new wave of British heavy metal. I picked up a promo copy of Borrowed Time. Another one, I've been looking for a nice copy of this forever. The last couple times I've seen it, it was just in really bad condition. This one does have a little bit of wear at the top and on the back, but overall the jacket's in really nice condition. And the most important thing is that the vinyl just looks unplayed. I mean, it's stone mint. I don't remember what I paid for this. I think I paid like $30 for it, but worth every dollar. And I think even the original pressing of Angel Witch that they had, I want to say that was like $38 or $40. It wasn't extremely overpriced. Or another one I picked up. This is a band that I know their first couple of albums. I really like their stuff from the 70s. I didn't know that they were ever on Neat Records. And I had never seen this one before. So I went ahead and grabbed it. I'm guessing it's more the hard rock side as opposed to the more prog of some of their earlier stuff. But this is Raw to the Bone from Wishbone Ash. And this is a Neat Records pressing. We got the famous Neat Records label there. I mean, definitely one of my favorite record labels. But again, I didn't know that Wish Ash was ever on Neat. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. And again, this is, I think it's stone mint, and it's in the shrink. So another one I picked up that I had never seen before. If you guys have watched me, I'm a huge fan of April Wine, especially their stuff from the 70s. I'm still on the lookout for, I believe, their first 4 or 5 albums. So I was really stoked when I ran across this. This is April Wine Live. I mean, it's still in the shrink. Paid $12 for it. This was a Canadian or a Canada only pressing on Aquarius Records. I can't remember when this was either. I want to say this was about 77 or 78. But there's that Aquarius logo. So I was, like I said, I was really happy with what I found. And we just had a blast. Once we got back, Wolfie and my daughter are about a year and a half apart. They really had a good time. They basically played themselves to sleep, watched a movie and stuff. And we just had a really good time. Ronnie and I hung out here in the office for probably into the wee hours of the morning before he had to finally get to bed because they had to leave early the next day. They were heading to, where were they? I believe they were going to Nashville, if I remember correctly. And then just a couple others I picked up. I picked up a couple cool albums yesterday. This one is one I already have a copy of, but this one's a huge upgrade. This one's still in the shrink, and the vinyl is near mint. But this is the mini LP made in Japan. So I'm real happy to get an upgrade on this. And then I picked this up because it was $11, and then I sampled it online. I had forgot my phone in the car. Usually bands like this, I double check. But it's still kind of cool. This is more of a grindcore sound for the band. I know their last 2 albums where it was more of they've turned into more of a death thrash band, whereas this is more of a grindcore. But this is it? Oh, Maniacs from Ghoul. And this is an orange pressing. I want to say this was 02 or 03. when this came out. Can't quite remember. Oh, well, I'm 2013. I'm sorry. This may be a 2013 repress. I feel like this came out earlier than that, but either way, I could be wrong. It's still pretty good. I definitely prefer the last couple albums that are more of a on the thrash side. And then another one I was really stoked to run across this. When Vinyl Me Please announced this, I really wanted to buy it, but I held off. I didn't want to pay $30 because I already have a really nice original pressing. But then I ran across this at my local record store for $19. This is Coal Miner's Daughter from Loretta Lynn. That's the artwork that came with it, which is also really nice. Let's see, I think it's on colored vinyl too. But I was really happy when I saw this. They also just released Outcast. Was it ATLians? I can't remember which one. It may have been Southern Playalistic. Actually, it was Southern Playalistic. They just released. It's the first time Southern Playalistic Cadillac music has been released in full. Every vinyl pressing so far has been missing songs. And I got the email at noon, and when I went online at 3 o'clock, it was already sold out, which is the fastest I've ever seen a Vinyl Me Please release sell out. But I really love the artwork on this. It just gives it that classic look. And then, yeah, it's on this, on this blue. I don't know if you can see the white, but it's got some white in there too. There you go. So really looking forward to spinning this as well. I've been really pleased with everything that I've ever bought. I don't subscribe to Vinyl Me Please anymore. They were too inconsistent. However, whoever does their pressings for them does a great job, and I've always been really happy with the pressings that I've released. Or they've released. So although I am no longer a subscriber, I still buy albums from them from time to time if it's something I really want, which was, like I said, that was the case with Outkast, where I really wanted to buy that, and I'm really disappointed I wasn't able to, because like I said, I've already seen them for 50 all the way up to $100 on Amazon. And knowing what the couple of Vinyl Me Please albums that have sold out that fast previously are all going for insane amounts of money online. So I'm sure that one's just going to keep going up and up. So anyway, that's it, VC. Again, I had a great time. I'll put links down below to Ron's Record Room. He hasn't done a video in a while. I mean, he's basically on tour right now, or on vacation, doing a cross-country trip with the family. So I'm not sure how long it'll be before he does videos. And I'll also put a link down to Wolfie's World, because he's got his videos going now too. So take care, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good, and see you soon.